Have you ever gone through a challenging time as a leader that had you feeling like you should have it all together? Times when you wonder, who the hell am I to be speaking about whatever it is you speak about? When part of my business or my life feels like it's going off the rails. Today is all about challenging times when things get messy, including how you can make peace with it and how you can use it as an opportunity to serve while expanding your impact and connecting more meaningfully with your people. Because you're not a fraud for having messes in your life, you'd be a fraud for pretending you don't. Hi, I'm Snakard, and on this channel, I help visionary entrepreneurs and transformational leaders like you to expand your impact while loving life every step of the way and without ever having to give up what matters most to you. Today, we're talking about challenging times as a leader, when things get messy, like when things don't go to plan, or you feel blindsided, or you feel some loss of control. And more importantly, we're talking about how to turn those challenges into opportunities to become who they're calling you to be so that you can better serve your people and move your mission forward. Challenging times tend to drudge up old identities and constructs that you probably didn't even realize were there, or perhaps that you thought you'd long since resolved and overcome. This is a big part of why successful people sometimes feel like a fraud. It starts when your strategic success solution gets activated, which you may not even consciously want to have activated. You can click the video on your screen for more on this, but the gist of it is, your strategic success solution was formed at a young age, not just to help you survive, but to help you succeed. And it got you love and praise and attention. Most importantly, it ensured you didn't get kicked out of the cave. It's the basis for your identity, for who you think you are, or perhaps who you want the world to think you are. It's essentially your solution for any deficiencies in the ways that you perceive you don't measure up or you're not enough. This is very real and present for me in my life right now. So I'm going to use myself to paint a picture of how this shows up and how it gets in the way. And I encourage you to look for yourself for where you can see you in it and what you can learn for yourself from it. My current challenge and messiness is related to some personal issues, but the thing is, you are who you are everywhere in life. You bring the same identity, the same constructs, the same beliefs, the same context into every area of your life. And when one area is off, it definitely impacts the others. Things have been brewing for a while, as I said, on some personal issues. Let's just say it's related to some things involving kids, and my mama bear instincts have been getting activated. I've been feeling the need to guard them, protect them, stand up for them. Anytime we're facing a perceived threat, it throws us into fear and survival mode. Those fight or flight reflexes kick in. Primal instincts take over, and it puts us in caveman braid, which limits our ability to tap into things like creativity and inspiration. So, as a result, I've had days and even weeks sometimes at a stretch of feeling like I am not getting done what I want to be getting done for my business. I noticed that I was being really hard on myself for this, which of course is exactly what I tell my clients not to do. If a client was dealing with similar things, I would be full of compassion and grace. I'd be having her look at what's the reality of the situation here without judgment. And as I realized that disconnection between how I am with others and how I am with myself, I had a moment. There was this moment of, oh my gosh, this is that thing again. This is my identity, feeling like I need to be rising up from the ashes. Now, your identity is very likely different. Again, this isn't about me. This is about where you can see you in this. Our strategic success solution, which is the basis for our identity, is what kicks in when we're under a perceived threat. My solution is that I can overcome anything. I will rise up from the ashes, and not only will this situation not stop me or slow me down, by God, I will triumph over it. So the whole beat up on myself of, how could I be letting this stop me? I should be moving forward despite what's going on. I am not a victim to my circumstances. That was me feeling like I need to do something so that I can be in control and not be a victim. And so my identity would get a chance to shine and show how amazing and strong and powerful I am. I want to just pause here to again have you check in with yourself. What's your DEFCON 3 strategy? When there's tension or a threat of some kind, who do you become? Do you overfunction? Go into control mode? Take it on as a fight to be won? Or are you the supportive one, holding everyone else up at whatever cost may come to you? Do you throw your hands up and give up? Or do you focus in on the facts and let your intellect override all emotion? We all have our own way. A big aspect for me of my strategy was that growing up, I felt like I didn't have control over much of anything going on around me. And since these recent events are having me feel like I don't have a whole lot of control over them either, those buttons are getting reactivated. Now, here's the part where feeling like a fraud is really playing in. In my current situation, I've had moments where that voice in my head is saying, "Who the hell are you? Who are you to be talking to people about being powerful, unstoppable, being bigger than your circumstances, when you're feeling so stopped yourself right now?" And in moments like that, I always used to think, crap, haven't I handled this already? Aren't I over this by now? But my view is evolving on that. I'm coming to see it as perhaps this is my lifelong lesson. And you probably have one of those too. Now, let me just be clear, that does not mean that we're stuck with it, that I'm stuck with it, that you're stuck with it, that we have to keep reliving it and going through it again and again. Seeing it as a lifelong lesson could become a limiting belief if you live into it with resignation and collect evidence for it as the truth. But I choose to believe that we choose our family, our place of birth, our struggles, because I believe they present us with the perfect opportunities to grow exactly the way that our soul is seeking. I don't know about you, but it feels pretty empowering to me to think that I chose this, that I chose it on a soul level, because it was exactly what I needed to call forth who I really am and to guide me in what I'm here to share with the world. There will always be people in our lives and situations in our lives that may keep hitting those buttons. And you might have one big red hot button that keeps getting hit and has you think, why? Why does this keep happening? Why do I have to keep reliving this and going through this? I believe the answer is because there's always something to learn from it, a next level of growth to evolve into. And as entrepreneurs and leaders, we have to be constantly evolving to become the version of you that you came here to be. And here's the perfect piece, I think, about feeling like an imposter or a fraud when challenges arise. Those times when you may not feel like you're walking your talk. The challenges that arise always seem to be perfect for fueling exactly what it is that you're here for, fueling your mission. Like for me right now, the stuff I'm going through is absolutely the same stuff that I feel I'm here to help you through. And I've done it before, hundreds of times. But if I'm coming from a place of, well, 20 years ago, I had those issues and I overcame them. And if you want to be amazing and sit on the mountaintop like me, follow me, my friend. No, that's a bunch of crap. We're all living our lives, having struggles, being human, bumping up against those survival triggers, experiencing fear and doubt, wondering if we're even doing what we're here to be doing, and wondering if who we are and who we have been is enough to get us there. And remember this too, those moments when your identity really wants to take over, when it wants to armor you up, to pretend to be something that's not really you, of course you'd feel like a fraud in those moments, but that's your identity, not you. And you and I, we all just get to keep learning in those moments, to evolve as you keep reinventing yourself along the way, as you get conscious to what's going on and whether it feels aligned with who you really are and what you're here to do. The thing about imposter syndrome and feeling like a fraud is, you're not a fraud for having messes or challenges in your life. You'd be a fraud for pretending you don't. I'm going to say that again because I think it's important and your identity is probably blocking your ability to hear it right now. So one more time, you're not a fraud for having messes or challenges in your life. You'd be a fraud for pretending you don't. I'm not a big fan of the advice that tells us leaders, sure, be vulnerable and real with your people. Just make sure you get through to the other side first. And make sure you've got a solid handle on it before you talk to your people. That's like saying, yeah, be vulnerable and authentic, but only when you've got it all together. And that is so not being vulnerable and authentic. That is being a fraud. It's crap. And it's a major disservice to the fellow human beings that we're all serving. If you want to connect with people in ways that they know are real, then be real. Let them see that you're a real live person who sometimes gets banged up and bruised when life gets messy. It lets them know that it's okay for things to get messy for them too. The question isn't, do things ever get messy? The question is, how do you handle it when it does? And who do you become in the process of it? And with that, a key element is being of service to others. Because how many of us think we're the only one? Especially as online entrepreneurs, where people generally only show the best of the best of the best of themselves, putting out messages like, look how amazing I am. Look how awesome you could be if you were like me. Especially in our moments when we're not at the top of our game, we tend to look at those people and compare ourselves and think, oh my God, what is wrong with me? I can't believe I have this challenge going on in my life or in my business. If people only knew what was really happening, I'd end up broke and alone and living in a van down by the river. But those amazing people you see, they're not without challenges either. They're just armored up, putting up a front, showing you what they want you to see. See, most of us, even in our moments of feeling like a fraud, we're not really intentionally being a fraud. It just feels that way because you know something is off and because you have high standards that you set for yourself. But my standard is this. I'm a stand for every one of us to be authentic, genuine human beings living from our heart and soul and connecting with other human beings through our real, raw, fabulously messy humanity. The more you can connect with people from the heart and just be real and straight with them, the better feeling and more fulfilled you will be, and the better our world will be. So when you get in a situation that you're feeling like a fraud, maybe when the messiness of life's challenges has you feeling like you're not quite walking your talk, or someone's hitting that red hot button that has you thinking, oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me, this again? Pause and look. Look to see what is the opportunity here. Ask yourself, 1, who am I being called to become in the face of this? And 2, how can I share it in a way to serve my people and move my mission forward? And then do it. If you want to feel truly unstoppable, even in the face of messy challenges when you might be feeling somewhat derailed, check out my free masterclass revealing a powerful tool that I believe is the #1 key to being an unstoppable entrepreneur. And be sure to click subscribe while you're here to be notified of new videos every week. See you in the next one.